Hi. Hello.
Oh no.
So, even in just preparing for this video, I know that this will need to be a longer, more detailed podcast. There's so much I could say on this. Maybe it'll just be a super long video here. I don't know. There is so much I could say on this, but hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm holding a plant on my knee. If we haven't met before, I am delighted to meet you. My name is Evie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad that you're here. I am your self-appointed big sister, helping you step into the most aligned version of you. And today we are talking about how to get 1% better every day. And that was really heavy. And this is perfect for us to be talking about in January. This is perfect for us to be talking about at the beginning of the new year, fresh energy. But if you're coming to this later, this is still super important. I think this will still be super duper helpful. And often when we're kind of beginning of something new, whether that be the year or a hobby, a new job, a new relationship, if we're learning a new language, for example, there is this pressure to make massive changes, do it really well. It's January 1st, I'm gonna start getting up every day at 6 a.m, going to the gym twice a day, I'm gonna eat really clean, I'm never gonna have any fun, like it's just too much. I'm gonna read 10 books before the end of Tuesday. It's too much, right? Because big leaps are not always sustainable. In fact, they very rarely are. And what we find is the real magic happens in those small, consistent changes. I said we then, because I know that you know this, you just need to be reminded of it, yeah? We all need to be reminded of it in January. So why was I holding that plant at the beginning? This plant, it got some kind of mold issue. There was mold on the leaves and we decided to cut it back, yeah? And I think sometimes what happens, can you see that from here, is we make this big change, relationship, we start learning a new language, we start going to the gym, whatever the goal is. And so there's kind of this big change, like cutting all leaves off. And it feels like for months on end, this is what we are. We're just kind of this little stump and we can't see or notice any changes. But look, this has been happening just in the last sort of 3 weeks, yeah? These tiny little buds have come out and they're growing bigger every single day. In fact, when I decided I was going to film this video a few weeks ago, this was so much smaller. These have grown so much in just the last 2 weeks. And plants are a really good example of how improving just 1% every single day means that you're improving 1% every single day. So why does the 1% matter? Well, improving 1% every day is you'll notice that change, the kind of compounds. In a week, you've improved by 7%, in 2 weeks, 14. Think about that across months and years. That's why the 1% matters, because when we show up in those small and consistent kind of routines or acts, we get to improve by that 1% every day. And it might feel so small and insignificant, and it doesn't matter if I miss today's yoga class, or it doesn't matter if I miss today's practice. But actually that 1% that's happening, that maybe we can't see with the naked eye, that we can't notice with our emotional intelligence, is still there, whether we've seen it or not, whether we've noticed it or not. And so this is the mindset shift that I want to offer you. It's not about the giant leaps. It's not about perfectionism. It's about those small, manageable steps that build momentum over time without burning you out, because that's the joy of just doing 1% each day. It's very difficult to get burnt out by just putting in 1% each day. This approach aligns like so perfectly with rejecting hustle culture, with living intentionally. Values that I know if you're watching this video, you probably hold close. So instead of focusing on what you need to do to overhaul this year, I want you to focus on what is the one small thing that you can do day in and day out consistently to help you move closer towards the life that you want. Let's break it down. Because how do we do that, right? Well, I think we first have to understand the habit loop, okay? Have you come across the habit loop before? Do you know what it is? Let me tell you. So 1, we have the cue, the trigger that prompts the habit. Number 2, we have the routine, the action that you take. And number 3, the reward, the positive reinforcement that motivates you to repeat it the next time you notice that trigger, okay? So that's an example. Let's say you want to drink more water. I am trying to increase my water, my hydration this month. And so I've set myself the challenge of before I do anything else in the day, I drink a glass of water. So the trigger is waking up. My alarm goes off. There is a water bottle next to my bed that I filled up the night before. Routine is drinking the water. Just drink it. It's not hard. It's very, very simple. The reward, I've already accomplished something before I've even got out of bed. Yeah? So trigger, routine, reward. How can you fit that in to your life this January to increase and improve by 1% each day? And if you're like, I don't know where to start, all of my goals feel ginormous, that's okay. Here are some other examples that you might want to think about using. So for self-care, you could try a 5-minute walk outside. For wellness, you could add 1 vegetable or fruit to every meal. For work or creativity, you could write 1 sentence every morning. For relationships, you could send 1 thoughtful text to a friend each week. And for spiritual growth, you could spend 1 minute in silence every single morning. And remember, it's not about doing everything all at once. I'm not saying start those today. I'm saying see which one is calling your name the most and begin that one. So you're picking 1 area and you're starting really, really small. Humble beginnings, you guys. And just before I let you go, I want to talk about the really common challenges around this and how we can overcome them. If you decide to start something new, a New Year's resolution on January 1st, and it's already failed, this might be the reason why. Let's try and rectify it. So when we're building in these smaller habits, things like feeling overwhelmed, getting really impatient with the results, and falling off track are really common pitfalls that you might have already fallen into this year or know that you can end up in that space. Let's talk about each of them. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's probably because you've taken on too much. Remember, we're trying to pick 1 habit to start with. Just pick 1. And when you've mastered that, then you can add in another. Have you been impatient with the results? Babes, you've got to trust the process. Sustainable changes, they take time, but the results are always worth it. Gift yourself a little bit more time. Trust me, it's going to work. And then falling off track. This is probably the most common challenge that I see in my coaching practice. You need to be compassionate with yourself, okay? That's information. Why have you fallen off track? Is the goal misaligned? Does it not fit with the lifestyle or the place in your life that you are in right now? Every moment is an opportunity to begin again, but do you perhaps need to begin differently? Is there a different goal that would suit you better at this time? Remember, progress isn't linear, and that's okay. What matters is that you're trying and that you're showing up for yourself. As we wrap up, I wanted to remind you that small hinges swing big doors open, okay? These small steps, even the tiniest action you take today, is a vote for your future self and could open those really big doors, those big dreams, those big goals for you. So what is 1 small habit you're going to start building towards today? Let me know in the comments. I would love to know and cheer you on. Thanks for spending this time with me today. And just like this lovely little money plan, I hope that you celebrate each moment of progress and notice the work that you're doing to create the most aligned life possible. Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care and keep improving 1% at a time.